Elizabeth Chappell, a lifelong entrepreneur who finally found my niche. After years of new ideas and jumping from business to business, I figured out how to turn a craft into a successful career. In 2016, I started a monthly subscription box for quilters. That little startup has grown into a thriving, multiple six-figure business that I am so proud of. As a published author, designer of fabrics and patterns being sold throughout the world, my favorite thing to do is to teach others how to grow a career of their dreams. Each week, you'll hear from me or from other guests who are creative entrepreneurs, so you can learn exactly what to do and what not to do to grow a career that's more rewarding and successful than you ever thought possible. If you're ready to turn your craft into a career that you love, I am so excited you're here. Welcome to the Craft to Career podcast. Today, listeners, you get to meet Cindy Cloward. She is the owner of Riley Blake Designs, and she's just so sweet, so fun, and has such an amazing business. So today we're going to learn about how Riley Blake started, how it's grown and evolved over the years, and some really exciting things they have up their sleeves. So let's dive in and let me introduce you to Cindy Cloward. Cindy, thank you so much for being here on the Craft to Career podcast. I'm so excited to have you. For our listeners, can you do a little brief introduction of who you are in the quilting world?
Sure. Glad to be here. Cindy Cloward, my husband and I are the owners of Riley Blake Designs. We launched in 2009, and so here we are in 2025.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear all of the history. Can you share how Riley Blake Designs began? What inspired you to start a fabric company?
I'll try to do the short version, but there's a lot of back history. Starting with my husband grew up in retail fabric stores. So his dad, Blake, that's where part of the name comes from. He grew up in the retail fabric store industry and eventually bought his own stores. Family Fabrics were along the Wasatch Front at one time. They had 4 retail stores that was a full line fabric store. So my husband grew up in the industry, cutting bolts, putting bolts out on floors, sweeping floors. And he swore he would never be in this industry. So how did we get to Riley Blake Designs? That's a little bit of a nuanced story, but he worked in the retail fabric stores all through college and then graduated in business and went on the business side, worked his way up in the corporate world and in the wireless industry. And for me, I'm a registered nurse. I have a nursing degree, and I worked in that field for many, many years. Surprisingly enough, when we got married, we used fabric from his full-line retail store. So my wedding dress was made out of fabric from the store, as well as the bridesmaid dresses. So fabric was very much part of his family. And I, growing up in the 70s and 80s, my mom was a sewer, and I learned to sew. So that was part of our family, and never met him in the fabric store growing up. But in 1999, the wholesale business where my father-in-law bought his fabric was in Utah, and it was called Christensen Wholesale. And the owner had passed away, and Brett's dad was the biggest buyer from them. And she approached him to see if she wanted to buy the wholesale business. We were more in a position to buy the business, so we were kind of the silent partner, and we bought Christensen Wholesale, and we lived out of state. We lived in upstate New York at the time, and so we were the silent partner in 1999 and bought Christensen Wholesale. My father-in-law, unfortunately, got diagnosed with cancer in that same year. Actually a month after we bought that business, and passed away about 3 years later. And then we moved back from upstate New York to Utah and needed to figure out what to do with this business. It was, we bought it, Brett's parents were both involved in the business. So it was the sole income for Brett's mother. And we came back. It was a transitional time for my husband. And we looked at this wholesale business that sold fabric along the Wasatch Front. And so my husband has a nice portfolio of running a company. And so he looked at it like, what do we need to do? So we launched Alpine Fabrics, which was a regional flannel business. And we had, pretty good success regionally. And then that was probably 2005. So we moved back to Utah in 2003. And 2005, we launched Alpine Fabrics. And then in 2009, we launched Riley Blake Design. So we became more ambitious. As we had success, we became more ambitious and we want to do quilting cottons. And my husband dabbled in other businesses along the way, but he solely focused on Riley Blake Designs in 2009. And we launched Riley Blake Designs. And the name Riley comes from, we have 4 children, 1 daughter, and her name's Riley. So it's a new generation coming up. And those who have passed on, Blake was my father-in-law's name. So thus Riley Blake Designs was launched in 2009.
That is really beautiful.
There's the long answer.
Yeah, good. I want the long answer. I'm very curious what this transition from Alpine Fabric to Riley Blake Designs. I mean, was it you were seeing success, the sales were going up, there was a market there? I mean, what are some of the thoughts that went into, and why quilting? Why did you niche down into the quilting?
Well, that's where the big players are. That's where, flannels, only so many stores buy flannels. And like I said, we had cute, fun flannels that did well regionally, but we wanted to go nationwide and eventually, international. So I think we just put a lot of thought into the brand and wanted to have a big splash in the market. So we rebranded and found our connections with quilting cottons, and as well as we partnered with some really great brands. Like My Mind's Eye was a friend of ours, launched, had her scrapbook company, and she was a friend we went to high school with, and she had great designs in and now it's the crafting industry. She does a lot of party and she's morphed more out of scrapbooking as that kind of declined into the party. And her designs are still so popular with the quilters, and just really original designs. And we felt like we had something to offer that was new and unique. So we made a big splash with just having more simple designs, bright colors, and just fun. We wanted to bring the fun into the market, and we had great success even from the beginning. Launching Riley Blake is this is a new look for quilting, and it was a different demographics that we welcomed in, as well as the demographics that's tried and true that gets into quilting when they kind of are retiring and want some hobbies. We appealed to the younger demographics right away. Which
is huge. I mean, I am curious, way more than I do. I'm totally going off what I think. It seems like the majority of the money that comes in the quilting world comes from an older demographic. But is that accurate? I mean, yeah, you tell me. Way more than I do.
Well, we see our numbers on our social media, and then as well as industry. We follow the industry. Mike Highland does a great job with that report he brings out every year of talking about the demographics in our industry. It is an expensive hobby. We are a high quality product, and so it seems like those who get into quilting are when they have more disposable time and income, and they are, a lot of people pick up quilting later. But as we saw during COVID, during the lockdowns, a lot of people are interested in quilting and sewing. So much younger people jumped in the market to learn in the industry, to learn how to quilt, because I think we want, instead of disposable things, we want to make meaningful things that will stand the test of time, that can be handed down from generation to generation. And quilts are just that item that are going to be cherished and loved by the people you give it to, as well as the new generation. So I think younger people are getting into it, but let's be honest, it's an expensive hobby. And people, as they get older, have more time and more energy and not necessarily energy, but more time and more disposable income, so they can spend time to making these beautiful keepsake projects. But at Riley Blake, we have the hard quilts, but we also have the easy quilts for, with panels, and we have a active YouTube channel, as well as Facebook group that encourages new quilters. Come to our community. We're going to teach you how to quilt. We're going to show you an easy quilt, and then you work up to the harder quilts if you want that. So we're all about running our own race and doing our own thing, and really encouraging a quilting community that everyone is invited, and we have a lot of fun at Riley Blake Designs.
Yeah, well, it's a fun energy. I have to say, okay, you touched on this, and I would love to hear more. You have made some brand deals, and I could be wrong. I just have seen, again, going off memory, but like Crayola, is that right?
Yeah, we've worked. That was our first license that we worked with. We have a lot of licenses we work with. We have up to 60 different designers, independent designers, and we love the energy they bring into, but we also have established brands that we work with as well. So some of our established brands, one that's near and dear to my heart is Peter Rabbit. I tried for years and years. I never thought I'd get that license, but so excited to bring Beatrix Potter's art to fabric. And we work really hard to do that justice. And so we bring a Peter Rabbit collection every year. Like you mentioned, Crayola. We have a new license that
can you share?
I can't quite talk about it yet.
Okay, we'll have to watch.
Not quite dry, but it's close. But Jane Austen, we've done a whole series with Jane Austen. We have Barbie, Fisher-Price, Mattel, Thomas the Tank. We do juvenile very well at Riley Blake. And, there's always need for baby quilts and baby decor. So we do a lot of juvenile. I'm trying to think, in the past, we have John Wayne's a little bit phasing out, but we've enjoyed working with John Wayne. And yeah, we just have a lot of fun and exciting brands that we enjoy bringing their art, their field of fabric.
Isn't John Deere one of them too, or am I making that up?
We've never got the John Deere license.
Okay. So. I'm making, maybe it's fortuitous. Someday. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just impressed. And then can you share a little behind the scenes of Liberty of London? How on earth did you get to team up with them? That's like a dream.
Yeah, Liberty of London. Now, we are the official distributor of Liberty of London. We don't actually manufacture their fabric, but we have worked very close with them. They are 150 years old. And how did that happen? I met one of I wouldn't say staff members, but the one that does the licensing for them in the United States. And I met her when I was in the UK, and I'm like, I want to sell Liberty. Riley Blake is, our brand, but we also distribute as Christensen Wholesale. And I would love to sell Liberty. And we scheduled a call. And even though they're 150 years old, they're new to quilting. They've done a lot of fabric over the year, but they didn't really understand the quilting market. So I was able to go over there, meet with their design team. I'm like, pinch me, like I'm telling Liberty how to do fabric for quilting, and just how to get their designs a certain size, how to pull a collection together. So yeah, I sat in their offices in Liberty of London and really took them through what makes a good fabric collection for the quilting market. And we are, again, the exclusive distributor in the United States for the quilting cottons. They're Lazenby, and they're made in Italy. And They're really beautiful. They have their own look, their own aesthetic. And so, yeah, we distribute them in the United States, and we're really proud to work with them. So that's how
amazing.
That out. And again, we still give them little hints like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And their artists are amazing, as well as their archives are extensive. So really love what Liberty does.
Oh, I mean, I could not imagine sitting in a room with the designers. And wow, I just think that's so cool. I'm very curious if you can share the first fabric guest designer that Riley Blake hired on.
So I already mentioned My Mind's Eye. And so they had several designers under their umbrella that they worked at with My Mind's Eye. So Zoe Pern, she was from Australia. She was very memorable because her design that she did for scrapbooking, we launched at Riley Blake, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was a simple floral and just great color and just eye-popping, and it sold like crazy. So Zoe Pern was one of the first. Dina Rutter was one of the second. Again, she did artwork for My Mind's Eye, and then she came on as a designer for Riley Blake, and we still work with her. And then less than a year later, Lori Holt came on, who, Lori Holt, everyone knows Lori Holt. So those are some of our very first designers that really brought a great aesthetic to Riley Blake and are part of our DNA. So bright colors, fun prints, original designs that really, at the very beginning, we said that bring a smile to your face. They're like, oh, I love that print. And we hope to still achieve that every time you see a collection from Riley Blake. And we have some just great independent artists that we work with that really, again, bring that look time and time. Our look has evolved over the years, but we still have the whimsical, sweet collections that you come to expect from us.
Yeah, I've noticed that some of the designers that are more new, it seems like branching out, maybe? I don't know. How would you describe the look kind of evolving?
Absolutely. Like we say at Riley Blake, we didn't want to be pigeonholed to just cute, whimsical designs. And now we say we have something for everyone. We have a very robust boutique department now. So we just brought on a new director of boutiques. She's amazing. Her name's Reba. She used to run her own company in Majestic Boutiques. So we have boutiques that is an important arm for Riley Blake. We have a modern aesthetic, which, people, we would eventually say, oh, Riley Blake's not really modern. Well, we have modern designers. And that was years ago. And now people say, yeah, Riley Blake designs brings everything to the table. And we really feel that. And, Amber Elliott, Fran Gulick, just some great designers that bring that modern aesthetic to the market. And, Christopher Thompson still brings that sweet, whimsical, but he has that modern style. And again, I don't want to say all of our artists because we have so
right.
many, but they just bring their own look. And when we bring on a new artist, we don't want them to compete with anyone else that we have on. And so we, really look at that, and they bring their own excellent look and they play in their own field. And now we have something for everyone because we have a very traditional look from like Tara Reid to very artistic, commercial look, like Lisa Audit does painterly look. And then we have our licensed like Anderson Design Group, who does the vintage poster look of the 1950s for our national parks. So we have that kind of campy, fun look. And, again, we just have such a variety of look. And so we moved into a business of having our own direct reps. So now that we have direct reps that really only show Riley Blake Designs collections, and we go into every store and we just have something for everyone. So if a store has specializes in boutiques, we've got that. If they're outdoorsy, we've got that. If they want fun and whimsical, we've got that. But we also stay true to our roots, which we still have flannels. It's cute. Riley Blake Designs flannels. You'll see that a few times a year. So there's shops that want flannels. We have that. We have wools. Yeah, we have a very traditional look as well. So
I'm curious. Well, there's two things I really want to touch on. One, is there a certain type of fabric or a basic or a panel like that is time and time again a bestseller that just people can't get enough of?
You know, our best panel of all time is from Anderson Design Group. It's the national parks. It's 42. It shows the national parks, and it's in that vintage poster 1950s look. That's our best-selling panel. It continues to sell and sell and sell because it's a great panel. It's really large. It's an oversized panel, so I don't know. We continue to sell that year after year, month after month, and all you have to do is add a border, or it's I'm not sure the exact dimensions, but it's oversized, so you can make it as is, quilted up, and you've got a quilt, put a backing on. So that is our number one selling panel. Again, we have a lot of our collection, not all of them, I would say probably half, a little less than half have panels in them. And so that is an easy quilt project. I make panel quilts all the time. I will make super hard quilts, panel quilts, and it's a way to satisfy that need to create, make something for someone you love without it being a lifetime achievement quilt. And you can make an easy baby blanket or a hard baby blanket. But again, we try and cover all the gamut for different quilters.
Yeah. Well, and as someone who might give a quilt, not all receivers appreciate the different levels. You know, you could do a cheater panel and they'd be like, oh, that's amazing, and not even know the difference if you put all this work and energy into it. So, you know,
absolutely.
Why not? I am also curious. I've heard that there's like embroidery, there's different branches that you're going into. Can you share a bit about that? Why you've done it? What you're doing there?
Oh, thank you for asking. Yes, we have machine embroidery now, and it came about because, again, you can only put out so many fabric collections, but we feel like each of our fabric collections is special. And so what can we do to make them even more special? And a couple of our designers were asking, like, I really want to make machine embroidery projects. I don't know how to do that. We're like, we don't know either. So we looked into extending the fabric into machine embroidery. So now we have a department that looks at, we can't do it for every fabric collection, but we've targeted certain fabric collections and added on machine embroidery. So it's really innovative what we're doing with machine embroidery. We've patented and copyrighted certain things. We're doing dolls to 3D villages that are so darling that come from inspiration from the fabric collection. So we look at fabric collections and go, okay, that would make a great machine embroidery project. And then we kind of expand from there. So yeah, we have machine embroidery as well as each fabric collection. We look at notions. Is there something, a specialty notion that could go in there? And Lori Holt takes the cake for thinking through not just a fabric collection, but what fun notions would be excellent to go with that, as well as we have great keepsake boxes that go along with that. So I know your original question was just on machine embroidery, but we kind of look at a fabric collection as how can we make it even more special? How can we add to it, and without making more fabric collections, what makes this fabric collection special? And machine embroidery has done that. We have added on, you look at this, plus it's can be evergreen because you can use our basics too. But a lot of times the inspiration for a machine embroidery project comes from the fabric collection.
Well, and you guys have some amazing notions. In fact, my favorite cutting mat is Christopher's. It's black on one side, white on the other. What's some of your best-selling notions? Best-selling
notions. Our mats are great. Lori Holt's notions do are excellent. You know, the design boards that are really nice. I will put a plug in for my Cindy Seam Ripper. This is something that I invented and patented. And so this is a really good seller. And if you've never, have you ever tried one of these?
Yes, you gave me one when I was in town once, and I love it.
It
Thank
really
you.
is handy. You can move it left side, right side. And I love this little seam ripper. I have to use it more often than I anticipate. And so, so those are some of the notions we're introducing in January. We have a spray starch that we're very excited about. The actual starch is made in Europe, and you can build upon some starches. You just spray it and it doesn't get any stiffer. This, you can build upon it. So you spray it one layer, you can just get it so stiff. So I'm very excited about that. We have basting spray, and that can, baste your project, and it doesn't have a strong odor, and that's really excellent. So we're just continuing to be inventive and have our own products that, high quality products that the quilters really going to love. Oh, our clappers, our wood clappers that are made in the United States. We introduced those to the broad market in a big way. And now a lot of people have clappers, but I'm still a fan of our original clappers. And we've got a big old size we call it the mother of all clapper. It's 8x10. It's a great heavy piece of wood that just really gives you crisp seams. So we're all about giving you tools that are going to make your sewing experience so much better. They really are going to enhance your quilting and the quality of your finished project by using our innovative notions. But yeah, our cutting mats are excellent. We have sizes down little to Christopher's large cutting mat. And yeah, we pride ourselves on bringing high quality products to the market.
Yeah, you have. And Lori Holtz, those design boards, I have multiples of them in different sizes.
Yes.
And that starch spray, sign me up. I'm such a fan.
Okay,
and it all started, oh yeah, I would love that. I had a long arm quilter who was just kindly like, I've got a little tip for you, Elizabeth. This could really make a difference. And I've never gone back. Like, starch sprays, all the difference. So
yeah, it makes a big difference. And I should say Sue Daly's rotating mats that how do you cut out without a rotating mat and then your square up rulers? You got to square everything up. I don't know. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, if you've got to move that ruler around, you lose accuracy, and all starts moving.
A rotating mat, I love. Yeah.
Yep, that's awesome. So I know my audience is going to be very curious. They're quilterpreneurs, entrepreneurs, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, how could I work with Riley Blake? So different things that you do. You hire ghostwriters, you hire designers. What are some other behind the scenes things that you are looking for in the community?
Yeah, on occasion we definitely work on Holly's team that she's the VP of creative design. She oversees all of our design from our kits to our free patterns. So yeah, we work with ghostwriters to make sure we have accurate patterns. And occasionally you'll see things pop up for jobs at Riley Blake Design. So we fill those pretty quickly. But also if you're looking to expand your social media, like partner with a brand, we have a team, Kelly at Riley Blake Designs. You can always, Kelly with a Y, you can always email her. We do send fabrics for collabs, but we have a specific collaboration team that we refresh every year, and some of them stay on, but we vet them out, and it's a core group of people. It is, you're not going to get rich off it, but it is paid for with certain content that we work with so many, and I don't have the exact numbers of that. Our marketing team works on that. So we have more organic collabs, and then we have a dedicated group that we refresh every year that works as kind of a Riley Blake Design ambassador. And that they're really great. We have a great diverse team that we like to work with. And those are announced every year through our social media. And, we work with people that are just pattern designers. So you can reach out to Holly if you want your pattern featured on a design board, because not all of our collections have a person that designs that writes patterns. So we feature a lot of patterns from different pattern writers on our storyboards, and that's a way to get your pattern sold, and then we'll sell your pattern. So we work with independent pattern designers. We get submissions for artwork like weekly, and we vet them out as a team. And the trifecta is they can design artwork, if they can design a pattern, and they have a social media presence. Oh, that's golden. But, some of our best collections are not necessarily pattern designers. We pride ourselves on bringing good art to fabric. So that's what we're looking for first. But again, there's all different ways to work with Riley Blake. If you're a pattern designer, if you just want to lift your social media presence, we can work with you on some level.
And I think tech editors, I'm just trying to think of other things that I've heard of, but anyhow, there's opportunities to work with Riley.
Yeah, we've hired people to tech edit 100%. So we're kind of fully staffed at the moment, but every once in a while someone bows out for personal reasons or wants to take a break. And yeah, we have tech editors, we have pattern writers, we have ghost writers and designers. So yeah, and graphic artists. Every once in a while, we have over 8, maybe we're up to 10 graphic artists that are full-time for Riley Blake Design. So every once in a while, one of those positions will open up.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So I'm curious what a day in the life looks like for you now.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I usually come to the office Monday through Friday. We're located in Lehi, Utah. I have various meetings throughout the week, but always design meetings twice a week where we review what we're putting out for the next release. And we usually go into the next 2 or 3 releases. We review that weekly because we always have collections that come in, need to go in and go out for various reasons, but we're slotting out our year. We usually work a year ahead. Mondays are always sales meetings, design meetings, working just with our marketing team. And then I am working on my own projects because of our YouTube channel. Tuesdays, staff meetings. More working with our Holly, and we usually have strike-offs Wednesdays. I film twice a month, so Wednesdays are usually our film days. Thursdays, I have morning to afternoon just meetings with design, kit, notions, projects. And then Fridays, I try to leave my schedule open just for all the stuff that I need to do for our YouTube channel, working with marketing team. So that's kind of my week. I try and keep my weekends open. Usually don't work on the weekends unless we're at a trade show. And sometimes I get really busy, so I have to film in the afternoon, and that usually goes into the evenings, but I don't like to film in the afternoon. So it's usually filming half days in the morning on Wednesday, which usually goes to 2:00.
I'm curious, speaking of trade shows, quilt market, can you speak to how that's changed over the years, and how do you see that evolving, and H&H, just how do you see that kind of changing in the industry?
Yeah, quilt market, it's not what it used to be, right? It was disappointing how few the traffic this last fall market was. And I'm not sure we will be back this next fall. Like, we'll evaluate that, but we work really hard to get pre-booked appointments there. So we were very steady, and we wrote, pretty good business, but it's a very expensive show to attend and bring staff and hotels and everything. So we're evaluating that. And it's kind of the show that is losing momentum, where H&H is gaining momentum. So we might put all of our effort into H&H. And then we usually go to QuiltCon as just more branding. So we have a 10 by 20 booth. So if you're like consumer, that's the only consumer show we do besides our Garden of Quilts. So we have done 4 events a year, unless we did something regionally with the sales rep across the country. Sometimes we'll pop into an event like that, but we concentrate on 4 events a year. It's always been Fall Quilt Market. We have gone to QuiltCon, and we're going this year, and then H&H. And then our biggest show of the year is Garden of Quilts in Utah. And it's a 4-day jam-packed event. I think it's one of the most special events ever. I've been to a lot of quilt shows, and it's an outdoor quilt show, 55 acres and manicured gardens, over 500 different quilts, from beginner to expertise quilts. And it's just really a celebration for the quilting community. And it's held at Ashton Gardens, just 10 minutes from here. And it's a really special event. So those are the 4 events we attend a year. And it's a lot to gear up for all of them.
Well, it'd be kind of nice from a business standpoint if you don't have one more show to do, especially if it's not paying off super well. But I do want to add my 2 cents about Garden of Quilts. So from where I'm sitting, it is the place to go. I plan to be there in 2026. Minky Kim, I hope she's going to be there. I hope she'll be teaching a class. She won't?
Be there.
Oh, she will. Okay, good. Yay. So yeah, I want to take a class from her. I want to take all of the classes. I want to walk through the garden and see a garden of quilts. And I've heard that it's like such a friendly atmosphere where sometimes if you go to a show, I feel like, especially if it's consumer based, it can feel like cliquey quiltish, I don't even know if you even knew this was a thing, but Garden of Quilts has the most friendly reputation. So I'm like, sign me up. I'm coming. Yeah.
I really want it to be that way, because I have to tell you, when I first started quilt, I felt so intimidated walking into a quilt store and asking questions, and not all quilt stores were like super friendly to welcome you in. This is about a community building event. It's not just about Riley Blake Designs. It is a celebration of this quilting community. And I hope everyone who comes feels the love, because we put the love in this show, and we invite people from all over. And it really is such a special event. You walk through those gardens and you can't help but be inspired by nature, by the quilts, and we've added like a shop owner track to invite shop owners. So I'm glad to hear that's the word on the street, because we've intentionally made it that way. It's not a juried. The only thing we do our RBD challenge with some fabrics on mini quilts. And so that's the only thing that's juried. It's the only thing. Everything else is just, you can see expert quilts, but we're not judging them. It's just, come, show your quilts. Let's celebrate the hard work you've done. And people come in and send their quilts from all over the world. And then they're like, where's my quilt? And we actually put a RFID tag on, so we know where every quilt is, and we make sure we keep track of them. But some people are like, I put in 4 or 5 quilts, and I just love to see where you put them. Because we have beats, we have like a rose garden beat, we have an outdoor beat, we have all these beats, we have a modern row beat, and it's really, I get to curate those. And so it's like Christmas when these quilts come in and they're all divided into their spots, and then we curate where they're going to go in the gardens. So it's very intentional where we put the quilts. If we have some tents there that if people say, I want my quilt protected, then they go in underneath the tents, because it is exposed to the elements for 2 days. They're put up Thursday night, and they're out Friday and Saturday, and we take them all down Saturday night. And we pray we have no rain.
Right. Have you ever had rain?
We have. And we have gone around, and quickly, only 1 year do we have to take quilts down because it was raining. And now we put there on that when you submit a quilt, can you, if it does rain, can we leave it out? And if they say no, then they usually go underneath the tent. But if there was ever a big storm, we would take them down like drenched. But if it sprinkles, we'd leave them up, and anything red goes underneath the tent. Because I don't care what manufacturer you are, red tends to bleed. So
yes, it does. I've learned.
So I don't know. This year, the last 3 years, knock on wood, we've had the most amazing weather, and it was just like glorious, just glorious. So yeah, I could talk about Garden of Quilts all day, but we have amazing classes, but afternoon tea, and you would be surprised. About 20% come by themselves.
I'm not surprised. I'm not personally, because I could see myself doing that. So
people just come like across the country. And so we have this, we used to call it icebreaker dinner. Now it's like quilt show, but a lot of people come, and even more, I would say half the people attending that are there by themselves. And we always have them raise their hand and we're like, look around, make friends. This is event about we have the same hobby, and we're going to cheer each other on in the same hobby. So
I love it.
It's a very special event that I'm really proud to work on with Thanksgiving Point. She is the one who championed this, Karen Ashton of Ashton Gardens. I had the privilege of meeting her. I'm like, I've got the best idea. And she just like, yep, let's do it. So we've partnered with Thanksgiving Point, who they're amazing. They're just amazing. So
yes. And so this is going back a bit, but you mentioned you do some filming for YouTube. So I'm curious, if of all the platforms that you have, you've got Instagram, YouTube, website, newsletter, probably Facebook. I don't know, maybe TikTok. I don't know where else you are.
The only thing we don't really do is like TikTok.
Okay, yeah. Which one do you find that you get the most traction with?
That is a good question. And I should ask my social media. Like, we have different crowds that hang out in different spots. So Instagram is like that instant hit of, oh, what are they doing that's beautiful? I don't hang out on Facebook, but we have a very active Facebook group, especially we have subgroups. We have an RBD block challenge because Riley Blake Designs puts together a challenge every January that I show on YouTube how to create these blocks, but they're talked about in the Facebook group. And that is over 20K, might be 25 by now, very active, super active. So we have got these subgroups in Facebook. But YouTube, we're up to 175K followers. So
nice. Congrats.
And a lot of people that follow us on there. So that's a good question. I would have to ask our social media because we're pretty active on all of it. And we have a large base on our weekly newsletters. So if you're not on the Riley Blake Designs newsletter, get on there because we give free patterns. We have links to our YouTube channel, but we're active on all of those platforms. I'm not sure. YouTube's really growing, but yeah, they're all pretty even. I think we have over 200. I know we have 200K on our Instagram, but 175. We're getting up there on our YouTube channel. So
nice. So, okay, I've got a few fun rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
So first thing that comes to your head, what is your favorite color palette right now?
I'm always a pink girl, but I have to say I have pulled some really great color palettes that have more moody colors. And maybe it's just the season right now because it's fallish, but I'm going to show you. This isn't very rapid fire, is it?
That's fine.
But, we launched 300 new colors of our confetti cottons. I'm telling you, one color that I just love is this kind of ginger snap. Have you seen this color? Like, this is so popular.
Ooh, is it really?
Teal, and you put these like terracotta colors. Loving that, and the soft green.
Yeah. Okay. Like this color of my shirt.
Sorry, that was not rapid fire.
I love
I
it.
could talk color all day long, but it's usually my favorite color palette. What's in front of me, and right now it's moody, and next will be pinks and greens in the spring. So
Yep.
there you go.
Seasonal, we'll say. Okay, so go-to fabric print, florals, geometrics, or novelty?
Florals, always florals.
Yeah. Okay, I do have a longer question on this one. Okay, because I teach these quilt pattern designers, and we always talk about find a hole in the market, and they're like, "There's not a lot of boy prints." I mean, you've dabbled with it, right? It just feels like it doesn't sell because we're all females.
Are like crazy for us.
They do? They sell like crazy?
Yes, but you know, florals are going to be your biggest because they're more expensive. But we do a big boy business.
Really?
So
I didn't know that.
But we don't do it every month, where you can do florals every month. But we release boy collections throughout the year. So if there's anyone who wants to submit a boy collection, we will definitely look at it, because people look at that for us. And I wouldn't say boy, like teenage boy, like the amount of people sewing for teenage boys are like this. But little boy, you know, half the population is boys. So if you got a baby boy collection, yeah, send it our way. We do very well with our boy collections.
Okay. Well, and then this brings me to another question. What hole in the market do you see that you're like, man, we do not have fill in the blank that you would love to see?
I would say submit more boy collections to this. We're always looking for something that really will do well in that genre. So like some of our like artists would say, "Oh, do you have something for boy?" And they're like, "Oh, I haven't designed that in a while." So definitely baby boy would be good. That is hard. Like unique florals. Don't try and look like someone else's florals. Try and be your own unique style. And I am surprised we will get submissions on like, "Oh, I haven't seen anything quite like this." So florals are always strong. Just develop your collections to not reflect someone else, but it's got to be something you want to sew with. Like, how do you see that working? How do you see that collection coming together? And panels, like more panels. Like
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, panels with your collections. Like, show us a panel. Some panels do well for us because we have something for everyone. But yeah, what's going to pull that collection together if you just have an everyday floral that looks like a lot of other people? So develop a panel. Show us how you'd use it. I would say that.
Do you have any recent designers that pop out that you're like, yeah, they have brought something really new and fresh that we haven't really seen before?
I like Amber Elliott. She's fairly new because she does have a very modern aesthetic. And so looking at what she's bringing a new take on florals. Lori Holt's daughter.
Oh, yeah. Cassidy Grace.
Her first collection is called Gracie. And because that's her middle name. And it is a very fresh color palette, but more subdued colors. So let me see if I can pull up her collection. But she's new to Riley Blake, so that's awesome. Her collection hits this month, and we're really excited about that. I'm trying to think. So she's a younger demographic that designs for Riley Blake, and we're very excited about her and bringing in a new generation. So there's a couple there.
Okay, this is my last rapid fire question, but if you could collaborate with anyone, living or historical, who would it be?
Well, we have the Jane Austen license from the Jane Austen house.
Yes.
So it is really hard for me to top that. It has been a passion project of mine, and I have to Beatrix Potter and Jane Austen. I feel like I have been given this gift. I got to bring your fabric to the world and celebrate you women. So right now, I feel like I'm living the dream of bringing those two women's fabric or art to fabric. Well, Jane Austen, she didn't have art, but she worked on one quilt, and it's located in the museum in Chatham, England, that we reproduced the fabrics from this quilt that Jane Austen worked on. It's called the coverlet quilt. It's incredible. It's symmetrical from right to left, top to bottom. It's all English paper piece. And we got to take that quilt, reproduce the fabrics, reproduce that quilt. And now we're every year bringing out more reproduction fabrics and releasing them in a book series to honor Jane Austen's legacy of her novels. So I feel like I'm like living the dream right now. Now,
yes,
maybe
you are.
I knew the question before I could think who else I like to work with, but this feels remarkably special to me, and I feel like it is such a privilege to do this, and I think Jane Austen would be amazed. We're like,
I mean, that is so cool.
Quilting. You know, she's having a year because this year is her
yes
50th anniversary of her birth, and so this is the biggest celebration of Jane Austen in my lifetime. So it feels really special, and I'm like, who could top Jane Austen? I don't know. Who could? I would have to think about that.
I know. Well, what first comes to my mind is William Morris, but I would want new designs, instead of like if he could be here creating,
William Morris. Cool. Yeah.
I love it. Well, for our listeners who want to find out more about your products or working with you, where is the best place to find Riley Blake?
We are hopefully everywhere online. Our website, even though it is for, we don't sell direct to consumer. We're a B2B, business to business. We support independent quilt shops. I think that's the strength of our industry. But there's so much free stuff you can see on our website. We have our sew-alongs, we have free patterns. So I would say go to our website, and our blog we still have we have a very active blog. And that's a great jumping off point to get to all of our social media. So you can go to the blog, you can see all our free content, and then you can go to our, YouTube channel or if you don't follow us on Instagram. I have my own Instagram page. I post probably once a week, once every couple of weeks. I'm trying to pay more attention to the world around me and not be so much on social media. But I'm pretty active myself for Cindy Cloward. And depending on what floats your boat, if you want to join our Jane Austen Facebook group that we just started, and then if you want to do an RBD Block Challenge, we have a great community that is sewing together. You can just choose the way you want to get involved, but we're pretty active. But go to our website. That's a great jumping off point to find out about us and how to work with us. So
awesome. Well, I love what you guys are doing. Keep doing it. Keep bringing products and beautiful things to all walks of quilting. And I'm going to see you in September, Garden of Quilts.
I can't wait. I'm so excited you're coming. So we're going to talk between now and then. So
for sure. Yes.
Thanks so much.
Yes. Thank you. Cindy, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. This was so fun. It's just amazing to hear how these companies start. I mean, Riley Blake is such a big company in the quilting community, and to hear how it started just from, Christensen fabrics and has evolved and grown and all the things. So thank you so much for sharing the Riley Blake story with us. And listeners, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a review. You can do that on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can choose 1 through 5 stars. And if you want to, you can share a few words, write a few things on what really is standing out in the podcast, what you'd like to hear more of. But it is the lifeblood of the podcast. It really helps this to continue and to be found by other listeners. So thank you again, Cindy, for being here on the podcast. Join me next Friday for a brand new episode. And until then, take care.